Baton Rouge, and for the third time in as many days, Jordy Ball gets the start for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah, Jordy Ball, one of the best pitchers in the country, high strikeout rate, and has the postseason experience. She brings it. She's going to move the ball up in the zone with her rise ball at 70 miles an hour, and then can change speeds through the zone and get you to chase it down. Her rise ball she can throw at multiple different levels through the strike zone and then also expand it up. She wants you to chase that pitch when you're working against her. She'll throw that rise ball 35% of the time. Almost 50% of her strikeouts come via almost 50% of her outs come via the strikeout.
Let's take a look at the Southeastern Louisiana Lady Lion lineup, brought to you by Capital One. Riley Ford has had one heck of a two-week stretch. The walk-off in the Southland Conference Championship game to make the NCAA tournament, and the go-ahead run driven in last night against LSU. And the first pitch from Jordy Ball misses outside of the freshman Shelby Morris. Morris, one of 15 new players this year for Southeastern.
You know, the tough part for Southeastern, and when we talked to Rick Freeman, the head coach of Southeastern Louisiana, about his offense going up against Jordy Ball, is that they really thrive with their short game, putting the ball on the ground. And what makes it a tougher matchup going up against Jordy, not only what she pitches, but it's her athleticism and ability to field her position so well after she lets go of the pitch.
Morris drops down the bunt, barehanded at third, and the play is made by Sammy Bland. Nebraska defense being tested early. They are up to the task in the first inning.
And they have to be ready for bunts like this. Infield balls in front of you is the name of the game for Southeastern Louisiana. Bland charged hard, saw the hands move and dropped down the barrel, and the bunt put down, and she was just on top of it. Even didn't take a great angle, had to throw across her body, shift her weight, but still made the play.
One down for Chloe McGee.
And going up against Jordy Ball up at the plate, you have to see the ball down. She's going to work a drop ball, change up, and rise ball. She wants you to chase the rise out of the zone. It is her best strikeout pitch. It's a lot of swings and misses on both her change and her rise.
Jordy Ball has been nearly unhittable in this tournament. One run allowed in 6 innings of work. That run allowed did come against this Southeastern Louisiana team yesterday in a run rule victory for Nebraska, though it was unearned.
Well, it broke a ridiculous scoreless streak that she had thrown over 34 innings in the NCAA postseason that she had gone without giving up a run. Just 6 strikeouts and just over 6 innings pitched.
Oh, 2.
And you know that Southeastern's offense will be clicking in this game if you see them putting the ball on the ground. First time that they faced Jordy, Coach Freeman said we hit a lot of balls in the air, a lot of pop-ups. That's not our game. That's not our strength. They work to put the ball on the ground.
McGee rolls it foul. In the regional, Southeastern batting just 197 at the plate. They have 13 hits. Though 7 of those came in the final 4 innings of a dramatic win last night against LSU. Could that be the catalyst for Southeastern's offense today against Nebraska?
It's a great take. Just figuring out this strike zone early. Great take. Jordy trying to get the top of the zone with a low rise ball, and McGee sees that pitch up and takes it.
we had a chance to chat with Rick Freeman earlier today, and he said he felt like they won over some LSU fans last night who might come out and support today if they didn't have anything going on. And he felt like the folks from Hammond America would make the trip, less than an hour away from Baton Rouge. There you go, some LSU purple in the crowd.
Well, I'm sure they were already planning on being here, so why not just show up and take in some good softball?
Now you're just rooting for the state to get out of this regional, right?
Yeah. And remember, Southeastern Louisiana was the 4 seed in this regional, playing in the regional final.
For the 2nd straight year, after they were the 4 seed in Tuscaloosa a season ago. 9th pitch of the at-bat. Upstairs, and a full count to Chloe McGee. What Rick Freeman and his wife Alana have created at Southeastern Louisiana has become the envy of so many mid-major programs across the country and beyond. 4 straight 40-win seasons. Here is the payoff.
I mean, these are some great at-bats by Southeastern Louisiana. They have swung, I think, 6 times. 7 swings that they've had and 6 foul balls.
He told us you'd see a different brand of ball today from Southeastern than what they put on the field against Nebraska yesterday. It was the first time they had been run-ruled all year. McGee forcing a tough play from Bland. She makes it 2 down.
And it's what we didn't see from LSU yesterday, just the ability to defend consistently in front of them and make decisions whenever Southeastern got on base. I mean, that was the hardest part about defending Southeastern in last night's game, is that they'd get on base and put pressure on LSU to make a decision which bag to go to and where to make the throw.
3 errors by the Tiger defense last night. 2 down for Maria Detillier. This Southeastern Louisiana team last night had 6 fielders' choices offensively and 8 hits. It's a type of pressure that wears on you over 7 innings.
Well,
that's part of the system, Amanda.
And part of the system is that it makes you feel like you have to be perfect going up against them with all of their team speed. Coach Freeman told us this is the fastest team that we've ever had here. A team that has stolen almost 200 bases. They make things happen with their speed, going base to base and putting the ball in play.
0-2 count to Maria Detillier, playing in her 2nd straight regional final.
In just such a stark comparison to Nebraska's offense, which we'll talk about a little bit more when they come to the plate, but 100 home runs for Nebraska this season compared to just 17 for Southeastern. That's not their game. Speed with triples, speed with stolen bases.
We chatted with Rhonda Ravel, Jordy Ball's head coach, coming into the regional final today as well. And she said, you know, for Jordy Ball, she had 90 competitive pitches over the first 2 games of this regional. Nearly 20, Amanda, in the first inning today against Southeastern Louisiana. Looking for a 1-2-3 start.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're Southeastern, you're already feeling like this is a win in this first inning going up against one of the best pitchers in the country. She has so much experience in the postseason. 13 appearances, over 50 innings pitched. And look at her ERA. Many of those innings under the brightest lights in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series with 2 national championships under her belt.
Was the MOP of the World Series in 2023. And gets a strikeout to end the first on this championship Sunday in Baton Rouge.
Looking like she's going to need this changeup to fool these Southeastern hitters who make so much contact. That changeup just fell off the table.
We see Macy LaRue yet again. She is being called upon for the third straight day. Amanda, the Southland Conference Newcomer of the Year in the circle.
Yeah, Coach Freeman likes to give this junior and Macy LaRue the start. Likes the quality starts that she gives the Southeastern Louisiana team that has a deep pitching staff with a lot of looks, but the look that LaRue will bring is a high percentage of rise balls and screw balls and then change speeds with that changeup, so more of an upspin pitcher for LaRue.
She will take on this Nebraska Cornhuskers starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. The top three in this order in this tournament have been unbelievable. Ball and Cusack, of course, the first Nebraska teammates ever to hit 20-plus home runs in the same season. Both of them have homered in this regional already. The question is, will Macy LaRue go after Jordy Ball?
Well, and the key today is going to be to keep Nebraska in the park. Again, that's what Coach Freeman told us before the game. You got to keep them in the ballpark, limit the amount of home runs. They hit 4 home runs off of Southeastern in that run rule win.
3 home runs on 7 swings. She has not missed on a swing in this tournament.
One of those foul balls was like a home run.
250 feet.
Yeah. That ended up going foul. 1600 OPS on the year for Jordy.
Jordy Ball's saying that hitter. Home plate umpire Christina Drum says it's a strike, and now Rhonda Ravel, I think, is going to challenge this. So a challenge from Rhonda Ravel on the 3rd pitch of the game. There was no hesitation here, Amanda, from Jordy Ball. She said she was hit.
Yeah, it looked like it got her a little bit. The question will be, you know, where it hit her. If her elbow is hanging out in the river, then you have to make an attempt to get out of the way.
Tough to hear it if it did hit her.
I guess.
And I guess Rhonda Ravel is going to decide not to challenge. The strike call will stand, and it's a 1-2 count to Jordy Ball. And maybe there was a discussion there about her hanging over the river. 3 Women's College World Series appearances for a legendary coach in Rhonda Ravel. 3 decades at the helm for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I don't think maybe you can challenge it. It's ball strike. It was not called that it hit her.
2-2.
But also, like, even if you could challenge it, I want Jordy to hit if I'm Nebraska, if I'm Rhonda Ravel. I don't want to waste my challenge on a hit by pitch that's maybe questionable, especially at the beginning of this game. Save your challenge, let your best hitter hit.
By the way, if that was fair, that's gone.
Yes.
8 swings, she's made contact on all.
But I will say, Jordy Ball, too, is just this selfless teammate. She probably wants to hit, too, but she feels it, the hit by pitch, maybe touch her arm guard. And she's like, Coach, it hit me. Let me get down to first base and start up this offense.
By the way, could the outfield play any deeper? If they did, they'd be in the seats.
They're right there next to the warning track. There's Shanita Tucker out there in center field. A low fence here, too, in Baton Rouge, so you have the opportunity to rob a home run, which is always fun. It's one of the few pitches that she's chased out of the zone there, but full count, wanted to protect the plate. There we are. We're hanging out with the outfielders, backs against the wall out there. And as an outfielder now, you know all you really have to do is move forward if you see the ball in front of you. If it's behind you, it's likely going to be a home run. Maybe you could rob one.
Ball sends it in the air to left field. See you later, a home run. Her 4th of the regional. The Jordy Ball show in Baton Rouge continues.
A 9-pitch at bat. She thought she got hit by a pitch, and It was a no-go, but stay in the box and swing like this. Beautiful swing behind that pitch. Absolutely barrels it up. A line drive that the distance was 250 feet, 80 miles an hour off of the bat for Jordy Ball. That is her 4th home run of the regional, not of the year, of the regional, and a new Nebraska record with 23 home runs on the year.
Video game-esque, literally, in this tournament. She has 4 hits in the tournament, Amanda. All 4 are home runs.
I'm telling you, that's why, I mean, all throughout the lineup, Nebraska has this home run power, but that's why you don't review that play. Let Jordy Ball swing away.
Sammy Bland, playable in left, 1 down.
I mean, this ball got out of here so quickly. This is a real speed replay off of her bat. The excitement, celebrating with her teammates. All of her home runs, too, have been up the middle of the field with the exception of one that she had an up and in pitch, barely, got a little bit fisted, actually, towards left field, but 3 of the 4 have been using the middle of the field.
1 down, base is empty for Ava Cusack. All she did yesterday was hit a grand slam as part of a run rule victory against Southeastern.
Coach Ravel has done a really nice job of utilizing the transfer portal and getting players with experience like Ava Cusack and Jordy Ball and Olivia DiNardo and Hannah Kamenzen. The list just goes on in this roster with utilizing the portal. And they're all players that have a passion, a desire, a dream to play at Nebraska and represent that brand in that school and university and community that they grew up idolizing and dreaming of playing for.
Lays off the 1-2. That's a pretty good hit streak. 17 for 34 over this wonderful stretch for the Colorado native. Takes the 2-2 down the line and just tailing foul.
Yeah, and it's best time of the year to get hot. You want to be peaking at the right time. Some teams will peak in the month of February even, and then they never quite get to that same level of play in March, April, or May. But this Nebraska team may just be peaking at the right time.
Nebraska was top 5 in the nation during the regular season in batting average. Hit a very strong 352. In this region, they've been otherworldly, hitting 415. In the air to deep left center. Could it go? It is gone! Second home run of the inning. Cusack makes it 2-zip Huskers.
Ball and Cusack, both of their home runs have come on a full count. This one on a changeup off speed. Cusack sees it, recognizes it, and is able to barrel it up. Again, I thought that Cullivan had a chance to go back and catch it. She was right there. Again, this fence brings you the opportunity to rob a home run, but just not timed up good enough. And now 2 home runs in this inning for Nebraska. That last one going 220 feet, just barely over the wall.
The new batch sisters of the 2025 NCAA tournament, Cusack and Ball, homering together in consecutive games of this tournament. We will have a pitching change in the first inning when we come back. It's a 2-0 lead for Nebraska with 1 out in the bottom of the first. We figured at some point today we'd see Lainey Bailey, though I'm not sure we expected to see her in the first inning. When we have seen her, though, Amanda, she has been flawless in this tournament.
Yeah, she's been terrific in this regional. She has a 0 ERA. The rest of the team has over an 8 ERA. But when she's come in against LSU, we've seen her shut down their bats, has had tremendous outings under a lot of pressure in high duress innings. But Lainey Bailey has been able to step up. Rest of the staff has given up 18 runs. Lainey Bailey has been flawless.
The one thing Rick Freeman told us they had to do was keep Nebraska in the yard. They are not built to get into a home run hitting contest with the Huskers. Right now, it's just a 2-run deficit. That is doable for Southeastern Louisiana. Shoot, they trailed 3-0 to LSU after the first 3 innings on Friday night. Managed to come back victory, but they have to keep it within striking distance. And that's one thing Nebraska has done really well in this tournament against both opponents, Southeastern and UConn. They jumped out to early leads, Amanda, and they kept the foot on the gas.
Their offense has been very impressive, hitting over 400 in this regional. Now 8 home runs. And it's the offense that we thought we were going to hear a lot more about from Nebraska all throughout this year. I mean, they hit with a high batting average, a ton of home runs. And even, I mean, you saw their roster and the transfer portal pickups that they got. Jordy Ball in the circle. And we talked about this yesterday, Matt, but you just thought at the beginning of the year, man, Nebraska could grab a top 16 national seed with this roster that Rhonda Revelle has put together here at Nebraska. He didn't. Came on the road here to Baton Rouge, and now here we are.
Hard hit off the bat of DiNardo, played at second by Morris, 2 outs.
And I think what is so tough about getting down against Nebraska is that they just run ruled you the day before. That was just yesterday for Southeastern, so it's kind of fresh in your mind, like you just gave up 14 runs, and so you try not to spiral in this game and hold it to just this 2-run lead to give you a little bit more momentum for your offense against Jordy Ball.
Oh, Kamenson got hit hard on that pitch up and in. She will take first. That's why you wear the elbow guard.
Now, that would hurt if you did not have that. It still hurts a little bit, I think, even with it on, but just not nearly as bad.
Kamenson, one of those transfers returning home that you mentioned earlier in this inning. As Squire shoots it down the line and right, everyone giving chase, and it falls in Bermuda's triangle. As there's a collision into the wall there, everyone seems to be okay, and it's a foul ball. Nebraska in the midst of another 40-plus win season after tying UCLA for second in the Big Ten behind only Oregon, who right now is on the ropes against Stanford out in their regional out west. Highly entertaining regional weekend this year. 0-2.
And I mean, we're having a little bit of bad weather today, but we've had great weather this weekend.
Can't ask for much more. The parity, the weather, the dramatics. Hasn't just been in our regional. Across the country, we've seen national seeds lose. We saw A&M, the #1 seed, lose to Dot Richardson's Liberty Flames yesterday. Oh, 2 rings up Squire on the outside corner. That's a way to bounce back for Lainey Bailey. But the Smash Sisters, Jordy Ball and Ava Cusack, put the Huskers on the board with 2 Solo Jackson the first. In the history of the sport, from a two-way player, the Big Ten Player and Pitcher of the Year for the first time in that league, Amanda.
Getting to see her as a hitter, I think, has been really fun. And I think when people saw Jordy in Nebraska coming here in the Baton Rouge Regional, you thought, man, it's going to be tough for my hitters to face Jordy Ball in the circle. But I don't know if we were giving her enough credit for what she's able to do at the plate. You saw her numbers coming in, Matt, but I just think people think of Jordy Ball because of her postseason history with OU as a pitcher first. But really, the story has been how she's been able to change the game with her bat here. 4 home runs in this regional, and she had not had an at-bat with OU in the NCAA tournament when she was there for 2 years.
Taking on Sydney Schneider here at the top of the second inning. Southeastern Louisiana has produced 16 total bases offensively in 3 games. Jordy Ball herself has reached 16 total bases.
Walked a lot, and so you know that they're trying to pitch around her, and she's still able to fight off pitches and hit home runs despite that. I remember watching that game last year, her first game in a Nebraska uniform. They were playing the Puerto Vallarta tournament in February, and I was watching that game when she tore ACL, and I just felt sick to my stomach for her, watching her go down and hearing that she did tear ACL and would miss the entire season.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Jordy Ball, and 1 down in the second inning.
This is just gas really over the heart of the plate. Hits the corner, looked like a low rise ball there on the outside part of the plate. And how about just how she rehabbed and got back into form? Mentally, she said she, looking back, maybe actually needed that break from being injured last season. A lot of pressure, expectations, just a lot on her coming over to Nebraska. Decided to enter the transfer portal 4 days after they won a national championship in 2023. Really sent shockwaves around the country when she did it.
Riley Ford with 1 down and the bases empty. 2-0 lead for Nebraska.
And get to be, you know, closer to home with her 3 brothers and her parents, Dave and Emily. Read an article in The Athletic, and her dad called her competitiveness a raw tenacity. I love that. Rhonda Revelle calling her a transcendent talent. And people knew that, recognized that about her when she transferred over, and that's why there were over 2,600 requests for season tickets. Season tickets previously had a waiting list of 26. And there were 2,600 requests when she transferred over.
Grew up having daddy-daughter dates to the ballpark in Lincoln with her dad, Dave. I mean, this is a family that is Big Red through and through. Saturdays listening to the fight song in the home, whipping up brunch before the Husker football games at Memorial Stadium. And you talked, Amanda, earlier in this tournament about how program changing it could be for Nebraska to have a player like Jordy Ball leave everything behind at Oklahoma. The World Series championships, the All-American accolades, the bright lights, and return home to try and bring this program back to Oklahoma City.
And when she came over to Nebraska, pitching is so important in our game, Matt, that when you have Jordy Ball on your team in the circle, right? Not even thinking about what she can do at the plate, but in the circle, you automatically become a World Series contender when she comes to your team because of what she can do. Nyjah Kennedy, the same way, transferring from Stanford to Texas Tech. Automatically, at the beginning of the season, when people see that, your team automatically becomes a contender because of how powerful she is and how dominant she is.
1-2 to Ford. Nebraska has not been to a super regional in over a decade. They are 1 win away from getting back and taking on the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville next weekend.
Well, and I thought it was cool. I asked young pitchers on my Facebook page and their parents, if your daughter loves Jordy Ball, tell me why. I just wanted to hear from their perspective of a young 11, 12-year-old girl looking up to her. And basically, just sum it up, it's because she's proof that you can be both fierce and kind. She was really open about how tough that injury was, but she was bold about it. And she's just so grounded in her purpose beyond the softball field.
She has set down 5 in a row to start the game after the ground out to Lauren Camdenson, 2 away. There is a unique humility about Jordy Ball for a player of her caliber and of her stardom in this sport. You'd never know it. Chatting with her, almost quiet is how I would describe Jordy Ball when we had the chance to meet her a couple of days ago and chat with her and a few of her teammates, deferring to her teammates a lot of the time. Amanda, that is the type of teammate she is. Doesn't need the stardom or the spotlight on her, wants it to be about the team.
It's funny that you said that about the spotlight, because that's something that somebody actually wrote in one of the comments. She doesn't act like the spotlight belongs to her. She's real, she's humble, she's kind to fans. She always makes it about her team. And ultimately, I think that people don't just see her as a pitcher. They don't just see her as a hitter. They see her as a whole person to be able to look up to.
2-0 to Maddie Watson, fouled off. Dad Dave hanging out here in Baton Rouge. He's got the beads on. That's very Louisiana-esque. Festive environment at the ballpark this week in Louisiana.
Always.
2-1 to Watson.
Look at these Southeastern hitters just continue to make her work. 36 pitches pitched against her and 11 foul balls off of her.
Southeastern looking for their first base runner of the day. Won't get it here. Third strikeout of the afternoon. And another 1-2-3 inning for Jordy Ball.
And it's a changeup. I wasn't even watching this pitch live. I was watching her dad. The reaction.
Well, Amanda Scarborough, one of the most unique offenses you'll find in the country. Small ball is their brand, and they do it as well as anyone in the country.
Yeah, they're great at executing, using their speed, being able to drive the ball into the ground with a runner at third base, less than 2 outs, and just make defenses make decisions and make plays. They put a lot of pressure on you, and honestly, there were times, especially at the beginning of the game against LSU last night, they just could not handle it. In that first inning against LSU last night, they scored 4 runs. All 4 were unearned.
7 of their 13 runs in this regional have been unearned. It's the type of pressure they put on teams and have put on teams all year, en route to a program record 50 wins in the 10th season under Rick Freeman, and just 5 of their hits have landed in the outfield. That's by design. They want the ball on the ground to utilize the speed that they have specifically recruited, Amanda, to beat out opportunities and put pressure on the defense.
And just such a stark comparison to how Nebraska has scored their runs in this regional. And only 2 for 22 Southeastern with runners in scoring position.
15 of Nebraska's 26 runs scored in this tournament have come from homers. That's nearly 60%. Strike 2 to Bella Bacon. Lainey Bailey back in the circle after relieving Macy LaRue midway through the first. Still has not allowed an earned run in this tournament. A 1-2 to Bacon. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Lainey Bailey.
I think Lainey Bailey does such a great job of just keeping the ball off the plate and right at the knees, being able to work both sides of the plate and change speeds. The tough part of hitting off of her is the way that she changes speeds and how she rarely misses over the heart of the plate.
That was just the 6th swing and miss of the regional for Nebraska hitters. Still more home runs than swings and misses. How about that play at shortstop by Chloe McGee? 2 down in the second inning.
Chloe McGee has really soft hands over at shortstop. The way she was able to get around that short hop. She gets that short hop close to her glove, not the in-between hop. You see in-between hops eat up shortstops all the time, but not Chloe McGee on that play.
In the 9th spot, Lauren Kamenson. I guess Nebraska's put pressure on its opponents in a different way. They have swung the bat 100 times this weekend, 94 times making contact with the ball. So if you're in the circle, you know that if you induce a swing, they are likely going to put the bat on it. And with the way they've swung it this weekend, it's likely going to be in play.
Just been impressed with how they've continued to score. I mean, entering in the second inning of this game, they had scored in 8 of the 12 innings. Seemed like every time that they've come up to the plate, they've had multiple base runners on base in their offensive innings. But this would be a huge inning for Lainey Bailey in Southeastern if they could go 3 up, 3 down with 2 quick outs already.
They have been one of the highest scoring teams in the country all year, averaging over 8 runs per game. 3-1 misses low to Kamenson, and that flips the lineup back over to Jordy Ball. Well, you got to face her sometime. Might as well be here.
I think you would have liked to have faced her to lead off the next inning with nobody on. Walking the 9-hole. Ugh. It's one of the things you don't want to do. And I love, too, that she leads off, by the way. I was talking with some friends about this, and sometimes you'll put that best hitter in the 3 or the 4 hole. I love the fact that she leads off, and you have to face her the most out of anybody else in the lineup. This is her home run to lead off the game on a full count, 9-pitch at bat, fouled off several pitches. And look at that emotion from her, coming to home, celebrating with her teammates. She knows what's at stake here in this regional final game.
2-0, does catch the outside corner. All 4 of her hits in this regional have been home runs. 2-1. Catches the outer half. 2-2 count to Jordy Ball, the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Lainey Bailey is just being able to paint the outside corner to these right-handed hitters. See if she goes to a changeup here. I would throw it low and outside with a changeup.
Diving play at second base to keep it in the infield, but Ball beats it out. She is human after all. A hit doesn't leave the infield.
She has reached base every time that she has come to the plate, and that's why I would have gone with that off-speed pitch, not a firmer pitch on the outside corner. See how she was kind of leaning out in front of that outside pitch as it was? Would have liked to have seen a changeup in that count. A little 2-out rally now for Nebraska with multiple runners on again. They have had them in every inning of the regional.
Low ball 1 to Sammy Bland. Bland is 3 for 6 in Baton Rouge this weekend, with a home run and 2 runs batted in. She can swing the stick as well in the 2 spot.
At 8 home runs for Nebraska, only 1 has been from a left-handed hitter. We had a chance to talk to LSU hitting coach Bryce Neal just about how this park plays with the wind and where the ball dies, and he called this park just a tough place for left-handed hitters to hit, because oftentimes balls in the air to the right side die because of the wind that blows in toward the park and across to left field.
That's putting it mildly.
Only 1 left-handed home run for Nebraska of their 8. One was off the bat of Hannah Kamensen, and memory serves me right, there's been a lot of balls that we've seen off the bat, but her home run was not to right field. I think it was up the middle of the field.
Again today, that crosswind blowing in from right center, blowing out into left, and that misses wide.
She's getting these Nebraska hitters leaning over the plate. Saw Jordy do it with her hit, just a good piece of hitting with 2 strikes, doing the same thing here.
How do you take advantage of it if you're Bailey?
I would throw a changeup. I keep calling for it in this 2-2 count. Was down with her drop ball, firmer pitch, but she has a great changeup. I've been impressed with that pitch out of her hand.
Two on, 2 out, 2-2 count to Sammy Bland. Lainey Bailey trying to keep her perfect ledger alive in this tournament. No earned runs allowed. Flared foul and out of the reach of the first baseman, Maddie Watson.
Just painting that corner. I mean, Lainey Bailey, she's had her paintbrush out there painting the outside corner. It's like a nice and neat, doing different strokes, heights on the outside corner. I mean, it's very impressive, her consistency.
Has 2 strikeouts in the game, working on her 3rd with her 30th pitch. Will not get it. It's a fair ball. 1 run is in. Here comes Jordy. Ball around 3rd, and the relay will not get there. 4-0 Huskers. On a 2 RBI double with 2 outs for Sammy Bland.
It's a great at bat by Sammy Bland to get rid of the outside pitch, to just think and wait for Lainey Bailey to come inside and more over the plate, and she got it, able to turn on it, keep it fair. And then Jordy with her speed, scoring all the way from first base. What can't Jordy Ball do? Home runs, good piece of hitting with 2 strikes. She's pitching, and now she's using her speed too, like we've seen multiple times in this regional.
Louisiana is challenging. It was a foul ball. That's the first challenge.
So home plate umpire Christina Drum will go to the headset. This is what our crew in Pittsburgh is taking a look at here.
Remember, if it was called fair, you can challenge it. If it was called foul on the field, you cannot challenge it. Now, seeing it land foul there doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's a foul ball. You have to see where it crosses the bag, and if it crosses the bag in fair territory. And I don't think we're going to be able to see anything that proves otherwise with how close it is where it goes over the bag. This is probably the best look, and it lands pretty close to the line beyond the bag. I have to think with the angles and geometry, which I'm not really going to try to get into, but it's just I feel like this is going to stand as is. I feel like it's going to be tough to overturn this.
I don't know. We've had some calls this weekend here in Baton Rouge that have been overturned that seemed like they were going to be tough to overturn, and yet they were.
I'm not taking anything for granted. Pins and needles until she announces what it actually is.
But if it stands, 18 of Nebraska's 28 runs scored in this regional will have come with 2 outs. They have been the impossible out in BTR this weekend. A decision has been made. We will await the official ruling here from Christina Drum. Rick Freeman hoping for a reversal. Sammy Bland looking for the call to be upheld.
After further review, the fair ball is upheld. That is Southeastern Louisiana first challenge.
And now a 4-0 hole for the team from Hammond, and still Nebraska with an opportunity as Ava Cusack comes to the plate.
The first earned runs off of Lainey Bailey, all coming with 2 outs, 2 quick outs. It looked like she was rolling, and then that walk to the 9-hole hitter. It always comes back to haunt you.
Cusack homered in her first at bat of the game. It was the knockout punch, taking Macy LaRue, Southeastern starter, out of the game, giving way to Lainey Bailey. Fly ball right side, that'll stay in the yard. And making the catch, Kaylee Dixon. But another inning with 2 put on the board for Nebraska. They lead by 4.
Fast. I feel like we started this game and we only had 1 ticket punch. Then all of a sudden we bring up that graphic. I didn't even know about all these other ones.
Some compelling storylines around the country. Texas A&M will have to win 2 games today. Oregon also in a similar situation out west against Stanford. A lot of softball left to play, and some national seeds hoping to push their regional series to 7 games. That is what Southeastern's trying to do against Nebraska this afternoon. They have to win here to force a decisive game 7, trailing by 4 in the 3rd. So far, only LSU has been a national seed to be eliminated. A&M, as we mentioned, needs 2 wins to reach the Supers, and there are 6 teams looking to make a super regional debut. That includes the Southeastern Louisiana Lady Lions, who are in their 2nd NCAA tournament in program history and 2nd in as many years. 2-2 count to Colleen Cullivan with the bases clear.
Well, and a shout out to my former head coach at Texas A&M, Joe Evans, who now is the head coach at UC Santa Barbara, playing in the regional final against UCLA. Had to win 2 yesterday, and they did it, both in extra innings. The first 2 wins ever in program history at UCSB. And Matt, the same pitcher for UCSB pitched all 18 innings. Malaya Johnson, literally both games, 18 innings, complete games, wins, both extra inning games, the pressure, everything about that, and beating Arizona State and a very strong San Diego State team. I mean, what a day for that pitcher.
Full count from Jordy Ball, her 45th pitch of the day coming here to Cullivan. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Ball's 4th K of the day.
Looked to me like she got about a ball off the plate here and got the call. That did not look like a strike to me, but Ava Breadwell able to frame it up. She gives her a little bit of credit, knowing that Breadwell helped her out by receiving that pitch, kind of pulling it back over the corner. I thought that was going to be a ball 4.
Kaylee Dixon, first at bat of the day against Jordy Ball in the 8th spot. And remember, this was the part of the lineup that LSU sort of struggled with late last night. Dixon followed by Shanita Tucker, both very speedy and very capable hitters at the bottom of the order. That is intentional from Rick Freeman. Feels like Shanita Tucker is like a second leadoff hitter in the 9 spot. And that is popped into the middle. Bradwell, 2 down.
Well, Shanita Tucker has been a tough out. Got on base in every game of the regional. Has a great eye at the plate. And so many new faces on this team than from when we saw them last year in the regional final in Tuscaloosa. I mean, 15 new faces in the Southeastern Louisiana program, and they still made it back to the regional final game. And maybe an even tougher environment in terms of playing your in-state foe. Tuscaloosa is a tough place to play, of course, at the Rhodes House, but it's just different whenever you have that familiarity and know a lot of the players at LSU. A lot of these players at Southeastern grew up dreaming of playing at LSU.
Shanita Tucker, one of those 15 new faces. 1-1 count. Takes it to the left side, fielded by Cusack. 9 in a row retired by the Big Ten pitcher of the year, cruising through 3 in Baton Rouge. The ageless wonder leading the Huskers to a 2-0 start in the Baton Rouge Regional and a 4-0 start in the championship game. Olivia DiNardo at the plate here to start the bottom of the 3rd after the Huskers scored the first runs off Lainey Bailey in this tournament. She had been perfect prior.
And Nebraska setting record crowds at their home stadium this year too. Bowling Stadium, great place to play. A lot of, I think they had to even add some new bleachers because there's so many people wanting to come and watch this team compete.
Oh yeah, this is drilled to right field and caught on a diving play by Kaylee Dixon. That's how you do it in right field. 1 down.
That's a good read by Kaylee Dixon. And again, it is so hard for a left-handed hitter to pull the ball toward the pull side in right field. It just dies in the wind. The wind is still blowing hard in and knocks it down. Kaylee Dixon able to track it down. Big first out and a great swing by DiNardo.
She has been nails in right field. Remember last night against Tori Edwards. In a tightly contested game against LSU, Edwards, the lefty, put a charge into one down the line in right, and Dixon stole what could have been extra bases. Speaking of left-handed hitters, Hannah Kammen's in.
Another hitting pitcher on this roster with Hannah Kammensen coming over from Arkansas, where we saw her swing it a little bit, more so known to be a left-handed pitcher. But another pitcher who can hit on this team.
Take strike 1 on the inside corner. She and her twin sister Lauren transferring back to the state of Nebraska from the University of Arkansas. That will scoot into right field. Will she test? Kaylee Dixon. No, she will stay put with a one-out single.
Lainey Bailey likes to work her glove side of the plate. You can see that pitch more so a little bit elevated than other pitches that we've seen on that corner. It's what has made Lainey Bailey so effective is her ability to keep that side of the plate down, both inside to lefties and outside to righties. And Abby Squire now anticipating something that's going to be outside, right on top of the plate.
Skies it a mile high, and it's caught in the infield by Shelby Morris. 2 outs. And now Bella Bacon, second-year Purdue transfer, originally from Omaha, Nebraska. Lifts this in the air to left center field. Tucker has a beat on it and makes the catch at the track. No runs in the inning for Nebraska, a rarity in this tournament. They lead by 4.
Consumer Reports ranks car brands on more than 50 road tests, reliability surveys, owner satisfaction surveys, and safety ratings from IIHS. And for 2025, Consumer Reports' most reliable automotive brand is Subaru. It's no surprise they also named Subaru the best overall automotive brand. Safe, reliable, trusted, loved. Subaru.
Little Bo Peep had lost her sheep, maybe because her team was stuck doing office work. What if she'd used the smart buying tools on Amazon Business? They help you work more efficiently, so you can focus on bigger things. Not so little anymore. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Regional presented by Capital One. Championship Sunday in Baton Rouge in a 4-run lead for Nebraska, taking on a Southeastern Louisiana team that has twice taken out national seed LSU. We're now joined by their head coach, Rick Freeman. Coach, 2 highly emotional games against an in-state rival. How'd you get your team prepared and locked in for Championship Sunday after what you've been through in this tournament?
Sure, just let them enjoy the win last night, and then we had a late meeting just to regroup and reset, get rested, work on some recovery, and then put a game plan in place. And I thought the first few hitters that came to the plate to start the game had some quality at bats. I liked what I saw. Then we kind of got away from that. So it's unfortunate, 1 or 2 balls left the park, and we got to keep them in the park. They got a lethal lineup, but at the same time, we got to get some balls in play and get some foot races to first base.
Coach, what are your hitters saying that it is like to hit against Jordy Ball?
Well, I mean, she's attacking the zone, on multiple planes and does a good job of changing speeds. But, these kids have faced some good arms throughout their career, and it's no different. And they got to hunt up something early in the count, and we got to stick to our plan and believe in what we do and take the focus off of them. And all the momentum's got to stay in this dugout for a little bit. Create a little bit of havoc, try and get back in it, and then get it to where we're a swing away.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Line up.
Yeah, those first couple of bats against Jordy with Morris and McGee were great. Fought off a ton of pitches, made her work. But ultimately, Jordy has had 4 strikeouts, first time through the order on her changeup and then also on her rise ball. So being able to mix that rise ball and change up her 2 best strikeout pitches. She's 2 for 2 at the plate with a solo home run and has not given up a hit or a walk yet in this game.
Rhonda Ravel told us the best defense against Southeastern is a strong offense, check, and not letting them on base, check. Perfect execution of the Nebraska game plan against Southeastern's havoc-creating offense through the first 3 innings. Second time through here for Shelby Morris. Grounded out to third and her first at bat. She is one of those hitters, though, that Rick Freeman alluded to in his interview. Had an 11 pitch at bat. Amanda fouled off 6 pitches to lead off the game.
Well, it's tough going up against Jordy because she has such good swing and miss stuff. Like with her rise ball, 36% of the time she gets a swing and miss. With her changeup, 59% of the time she gets a swing and miss. 6 out of 10 times that she throws that pitch, she's getting a swing and miss.
Flared into left, giving chase, and just out of the reach of Abby Squire.
Terrific effort by Abby Squire, who got a good read, went all out. Captain on this team, did everything that she could to lay on, trying to grab that ball in the air. Remember, Southeastern trying to put the ball on the ground so that they can use their speed.
Foot race to first. That's what they want. Here's the 1-2. But the difficulty, too, Amanda, when Jordy Ball gets 2 strikes on you, nearly impossible to hit. How about 5 strikeouts today for the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year?
Batters against Jordy Ball with 2 strikes on her changeup have an .053 batting average. This is the changeup here, getting Morris out in front of that pitch for the 5th strikeout of the game for Ball.
Here's Chloe McGee. Chloe McGee, one of a handful of returners from that team that shocked the world last year, twice beating Clemson at the Tuscaloosa Regional. And gave Alabama a run for its money in the winner's bracket on Saturday. Making a trip to a regional final in the program's first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Pretty remarkable stuff. Last year, they've somehow bettered it this year.
This is a team with a really great culture that Rick Freeman has created. A lot of belief in each other, a really family united atmosphere that he creates, and it's really that passion that they play with, Matt, that I think has grabbed a lot of people's attention, even with how they hustle on and off the field. He said he got tons of texts and emails just about people recognizing the hard hustle that they have on and off the field, back to their positions. It's a team that just does not give up. And you go harder for a team that you believe in the culture and you believe in those around you and you believe with those that are at the top leading you. Just human nature. You go harder for people that you appreciate and believe in.
Full count to Chloe McGee. You know, when Rick Freeman took over this program in 2015, the Lady Lions had never won more than 32 games in a season. They've won 40 or more in 4 straight, and this year have reached 50, a program record. Full count. There's a strike on the inside corner. Back-to-back Ks, and the 6th for Jordy Ball.
You know, these Southeastern hitters are making Jordy work, fouling off a bunch of pitches. She goes to her rise ball inside. I love the way that she is able to locate that pitch right at the knees or thigh high. She can expand the zone up. Southeastern not chasing that pitch as much, so Jordy moves her rise ball down in the zone and still is able to get a called strike with that pitch.
2 outs for Maria Detillier. Big part of that culture you mentioned, Amanda. 2-time all-conference player, a Louisiana native. The definition of that Bayou blood that Rick Freeman loves to recruit in Hammond, Louisiana.
Well, and he told us before the game, Mac, that their goal is to out-hustle every team that we play. You don't really hear a college coach say that all too often, right? But that is their goal, is to out-hustle every team. And even last night, he said that he was telling his team last night in that game against LSU, empty the tank. Give me everything that you have here in these late innings. And they did.
That was a slugfest last night. Not in terms of home runs and power hitting, but in terms of punch and counterpunch. Runs being scored in each of the last few half innings. One team would score, the next would respond. In 5 straight half innings to end the game, either LSU or Southeastern scored. That's the type of emotional, dramatic finish we had last night in Baton Rouge, with Southeastern Louisiana winning 2 games on LSU's field against the Tigers this week. Here's the 2-2 to Detillier with 2 outs and the bases empty.
See if she goes to the changeup here, looking for a strike out the side. Went up to the rise. I think that changeup is just around the corner here. Arguably the best hitter in the lineup. Most power, most RBIs, nobody on base now, but just the hitter that has been so clutch with extra pop in her bat in this lineup, Detillier.
70th pitch of the day, 7th pitch of the at-bat. Detillier goes down on strikes, and Jordy Ball sets down the side.
And this is the deepest that we have seen her pitch into a game at the regional. She's only gone 3 innings before this, but this is the 4th. Second time through the order. First 3 hitters in the lineup face her. Jordy goes 3 up, 3 down, striking out the side.
But she is a joy to watch, both in the circle and at the plate. And you heard Coach talking about the cars in the parking lot on a Monday night. And Amanda, it goes beyond Jordy Ball, though she's been a big influence in that extra work and that competitive spirit. In general, the program of 25 players plus coaches and support staff have been more bought in offensively this year. There's been a shared responsibility offensively this year that Rhonda Ravel told us has been extra special in her time as the head coach.
Being able to hit for average and being able to hit for power. And we asked her, you know, what's with the more offense this year? And she's like, I can't put my finger on one thing. Scouting and tweaked some things, but my favorite thing is the shared responsibility that this lineup has.
Ava Bredwell leads it off in the bottom of the 4th with a 4-run Nebraska lead. Offensively, they've enjoyed one of the best in recent memory. 5th in the NCAA in home runs, 3rd in runs scored, 5th in batting average, 5th in doubles. As this is sent in the air to left center, and Tucker won't get there. Bredwell will scoot up to second base with a leadoff double.
I mean, they've been able to get production all throughout their order. They just haven't relied on one hitter. Prime example of this is Ava Bredwell down in the 8th hole, 2 RBIs in this regional, 3rd hit of the regional. Gets herself a double here. As a catcher back behind the plate, swinging it a little bit too for extra bases, finding that gap in left center field.
Passes the bat to Lauren Kamensen in the 9 hole. And now for Nebraska, 14 straight innings with at least one hit in this regional. How's that for putting pressure on your opponent?
As a defense and pitcher, you gain momentum by a 3-up, 3-down inning. It's what you do to be able to hurry back into the dugout, pick up the bats, and use that momentum to put some runs on the board. But Nebraska, their offense is just so defeating when you're in the field. They don't go away.
Pop up to Chloe McGee, one down. And again, Jordy Ball will come to the plate with the runner aboard.
First base open. We'll see if they just decide to pitch around her. I'd go ahead and put her at first base. It's been so tough, though, because you have Bland with double-digit home runs behind her, and then Cusack on deck. Or in the hole, I should say.
Lainey Bailey pitched her well the first time they met back in the second inning. Had a 2-strike count on Jordy Ball, who just muscled an infield single up the middle. But in this tournament, the Big Ten Player of the Year is 5 for 5 with 4 home runs. And that infield single back in the second inning. Top 10 finalists for National Player of the Year.
And only 4 players in history with 20 or more wins and 20 or more home runs. With her 4 home runs of the regional, she broke that 20 home run mark. She didn't have that before she got here.
And she draws a walk on 4 pitches. The last time Sammy Bland came to the plate with 2 on, she cleared the bags with a double, doubling Nebraska's lead. She comes to the plate here with 2 on and less than 2 out. And a chance to add to this 4-0 Huskers lead on Championship Sunday. That ball gets away from Schneider, up to third Breadwell, over to second base Ball, and now both in scoring position here in the 4th.
Sydney Schneider has been great for the Southeastern team, back behind the plate and up at the plate. Big addition for them. It's their first year with the program after playing JUCO.
Well, many people have texted Rick Freeman about Sydney Schneider, not just because of the way she plays the game, but because she's a left-handed catcher. And Rick Freeman told us she's not the only one we've ever had in my 10-year tenure in Hammond. But she is one that came in and totally bought into development. She had big shoes to fill, replacing a 3-time all-conference player in Bailey Krolczyk, who was the hitter of the year in the conference a couple of seasons ago. And Rick Freeman told Sydney Schneider, transferring in from the junior college level, you have big shoes to fill, but I think you can do it if you'll let us work with you. Boy, has that panned out in her first season. This is ripped up the middle. 1 run will score at least. Here comes Ball, and she will score without issue. Up to third goes Sammy Bland, and she will stay put, scoring 2 yet again.
Good piece of hitting by Sammy Bland, taking that outside pitch right back up the middle of the field, barrels it up. Good enough for a couple of RBIs. And look at her speed. Sammy Bland has some good speed. Easily going to get to third as it is, but watching her run and be able to see that ball in the air, go to the backstop, get herself into third base. A couple of big runs now with where we're at in this game. Bottom of the fourth inning, Nebraska going to try to push 2 across here, understanding the 5-run rule, or excuse me, the 8-run rule after 5 innings is on the line. They just be 3 outs away if they could push across 2 more runs.
And we will have another pitching change for Southeastern. Hallie Burns, the Ole Miss transfer, will be the 3rd arm used this afternoon by Rick Freeman. And Burns will make her 3rd appearance of the regional, has allowed 3 earned runs on 4 1/3 with 5 walks to this point. Spent a redshirt freshman season last year at Ole Miss, hopped in the portal and found her way to Hammond.
Gonna throw a lot of curveballs. A curveball and rise ball and an off-speed curveball are the 3 pitches that she'll go to. So a lot of curve spin. That pitch will move away from right-handed hitters and move into lefties.
Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City again this year, with the action beginning Thursday, May 29th, 12 Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2025 WCWS, you can go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Does this Nebraska team have what it takes to get to Oklahoma City? I think the answer to that is unequivocally yes, after what they've shown at this regional. Between the pitching of Jordy Ball and the hitting 1 through 9, this is as dangerous an unseeded team as we've seen in a while, Amanda, and certainly Ava Cusack a big part of that.
This offense that can really produce, and I think it's, can they do it against the top pitchers in the country coming in? I mean, Southeastern Louisiana had one of the top ERAs in the country. We've seen them do damage against their pitchers. They've now scored 20 runs against them.
Tucker drifting in, makes the catch. Runner will tag, and the throw is offline, and another run comes across. That is the 7th of the game for Nebraska. Sammy Bland has done it all today, driving in 4, scoring 1, and a 2 for 3 day for the starting 3rd baseman. Well, you mentioned the run rule opportunity. Nebraska getting closer to that. Southeastern Louisiana will try to find a way to get on base against Jordy Ball, who is perfect so far. Time we've seen Jordy Ball in this tournament. 3rd time we've seen her homer and strike out a whole bunch of opposing hitters.
This feels familiar this weekend in Baton Rouge. She is bringing it in the circle. Her rise, drop, and changeup are all working. Southeastern has worked hard against her in the box, fouling off a lot of pitches, but ultimately Jordy has won these battles. 2 for 2 on the day with a solo home run and 3 runs scored. But I mean, thinking about what she has done offensively in this regional with RBIs and runs scored, and she has not gotten out yet, Matt.
And she has not allowed a base runner in this game against Southeastern. Sydney Schneider leading it off, looks at strike 1. We had a chance to talk with Rhonda Revelle before the regional began, and look, Nebraska has a long and rich history of two-way players. It's part of what Jordy Ball was so attracted to from an early age. As this is sprayed into left field and tails foul. Same with Hannah Kamenzind. Kaylin Jablonski, Tatum Edwards, Kaylin Kinney, the list goes on, but certainly Jordy Ball, in just her first year, really pitching and hitting for this program, has to rank among the best, right?
Absolutely. I mean, she's the type of player that's a generational talent when you watch her, and we were thinking about that even when she just pitched, and being able to bring it offensively too to the level that she has brought it this year, with her batting average hitting pretty dang close to 500 and her slugging percentage over 1,000 even entering this game. And on the regional, okay, these are her regional offensive numbers: 5 for 5 with 4 home runs, 6 walks, 8 runs scored, and 7 RBIs.
That might break up the no-hitter. It will! In the 5th, Briley Ford beats out an infield single, and for the first time today, Southeastern has a runner aboard.
Briley Ford has been on fire. She had the hit that won the Southland Conference Championship for them, had the game-winning RBI in last night's game as well. Transfer from McNeese, a sophomore, breaking up the no-hitter against one of the best pitchers in the country, who is just rolling. Great effort by Kamenzind to lay out, but that ball pulled her up the middle of the field. No chance to make the play at 1.
And now Briley Broussard comes in a pinch run. Broussard, a demon on the base paths, over 20 stolen bags this year. As Maddie Watson digs in. Will Rick Freeman, who finally has a runner on, get aggressive here with Broussard, who has only been caught stealing once in 24 tries this season. Down 7-0, top of the 5th. Knowing that Nebraska, if you don't score here, is just 1 run away from walking it off in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 to Watson. Hitters count to the starting first baseman, who has not always played over at first base. In fact, this is her 3rd different starting position in 3 years. Bouncing ball, backhanded by Ball. Spins and fires to second in time. Watson beats out the turn. 2 gone in the 5th.
Such an athletic play by Jordy, going to her backhand. And this is what Coach Freeman talked about, her athleticism in the circle. Look at her go and backhand that and then make the force out at second. Not a great throw. Lauren Kamenzind helped her out, but she knew she had to rush. Kamenzind still with the low pick.
Meanwhile, in College Station, a major story developing. Liberty just hit a grand slam, Amanda. They lead 6-0 against top-ranked Texas A&M.
And it's just the bottom of the 2nd inning. 2 already scored 6 runs.
Texas A&M had a historic run through the regular season and SEC tournament. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that epic matchup in the championship game against Oklahoma. It got rained out. They were both named co-champions. But to see them potentially lose in game 1 of Championship Sunday and be eliminated from this tournament before the Super Regional, my goodness, that would be something in College Station.
All right, I'm right here, Matt.
I'm sorry.
I understand where you're going. I'm right here. I'm watching it happen.
I mean, is that not shocking?
No, it absolutely. I mean, it is, but I'm more so shocked with how A&M was hitting the ball coming into the regional. They had run-ruled 4 games in a row. They run-ruled the first opponent that they played. Their offense looked like it was rolling, but what has stumped me is just how Liberty's pitching has shut down their offense up to this point. However, I will say A&M has played great earning that 1 seed, but there's still a program that's figuring out how to win. I mean, the success that they had this year to get the 1 seed overall in the tournament for the first time in program history happened real fast, and it's a different feel. It's a different vibe to walk out as the 1 seed where everybody is hunting you. For the longest time, A&M had been the hunters, not the hunted, and so a quick turn this year with the year that they put together to grab that 1 seed, everybody wanting to beat them. And Liberty, a motivated team.
They were so close to making a super last year, was Liberty. Jordy Ball trying to bring Nebraska back to a super for the first time in over a decade. She has 8 strikes today to the Super Regional. 6 have already been punched. Almost all of them coming from SEC teams. The lone one outside the SEC, Clemson, handling business. They're matched up with Texas next week in Austin. Meanwhile, Duke is getting very close to punching its ticket against Georgia in the Durham Regional. Here in Baton Rouge, Nebraska needs 1 run to punch its ticket to Knoxville. Meanwhile, if you're just joining us, we were chatting last half inning about Texas A&M trailing 6-0 early to the Liberty Flames. They've been close in years past. 8 trips to the NCAA tournament as Hannah Kamenzen got popped. But they have never been to a super regional, Amanda, and you talked with me earlier this weekend. You had a chance to chat with Dot Richardson early in the year, and there was a real hunger for the Flames this year in the offseason, coming so close last year and missing out on a trip to the Super.
Yeah, and she had told us, you know, last year they were 1 out away from a super regional last season. Whenever they faced Georgia, they lost 3-2, but she had said that what I see with this team is that they want more. There's a confidence and a passion about them. They challenge themselves with their preseason schedule. And big time hunger with that Liberty team to be able to try and make it to a super regional for the first time in their school history. Even at the beginning of the year, that was on their mind.
Nebraska has not been to a super since 2014. Twice since then, they've been 1 game away. Could this be the inning in which they end the drought?
Well, and no #1 national seed has ever failed to advance from regionals, ever. And Dawn Richardson did also say that she felt like this is the strongest team that she had ever had at Liberty. I like the way she put it, Matt. She said, we tasted the appetizer and now we're ready for the main meal. These are things that she said in February, and now they're proving it.
Down 6-0 in a must-win game, knowing you've got to play another game against that team, the pressure that the Aggies must be feeling right now, I cannot fathom it, other than what we saw here last night with LSU playing in a must-win game against Southeastern Louisiana. National seeds on the ropes across multiple regions this weekend. though LSU is the only so far to be eliminated. 3-2. Squire backhanded by Burns. Flip to second. Good. The turn out of the mid of Shelby Morris. Lead runner wiped off the board. Squire reaching on a fielder's choice, and now Bella Bacon comes to the plate with the game-winning run aboard and one down in the 5th. In the air to right. Broussard just checking into the game for Kaylee Dixon. Makes the play. 2 gone. Ava Bradwell at the dish. It's interesting, coming into this regional, we wondered about Nebraska. They had played 20 games against current NCAA tournament teams. They went 10-10 over the course of the regular season in the Big Ten tournament. 7 times they played a ranked team. They went 1-6 in those 7 meetings, beating Tennessee. Wouldn't it be something if they faced up with Tennessee next weekend? This game will continue, though. On to the 6th we go. Sela looking for some runs. Both wins were their first wins over a national seed in program history. It helped them get to 50 wins. What a stretch. Rick Freeman, Alana Freeman, and this program have been on, Amanda, over the last 4 years. 4 straight 40-win seasons, putting them in elite company among the very best teams that Division I softball has to offer.
It's quite a milestone to hit that 50-win mark, and you see that it's a team that has just continued to get better and better. And I covered Rick Freeman whenever he was at Jackson State and won the conference tournament there, and knew he was a special coach.
1 down in the 6th.
Played the same style of ball, a lot of steals, a lot of speed, a lot of pressure that they put on defenses.
Shanita Tucker, who, maybe like you, Amanda Scarborough, also saw something in Rick Freeman. 1 consecutive JUCO national championship, spent last year at Lamar and was the Southland Conference Newcomer of the Year. But got in the portal for her final 2 seasons of college softball, called Rick Freeman and said, I hope you have a spot for me because I'm coming to you.
Yeah, he said a lot of transfer portal people, recruits, are just attracted to them because of the way that they play. And it's something that you notice, especially I felt like I noticed it last night as Jordy Ball gets her 9th strikeout, is just the fight, the hustle, the passion. It's their style of play, and people are attracted to that. They want to come play for that style of play.
They have built championship culture after championship culture at each of their stops. He and his wife Alana have been coaching together for 20+ years. From the lowest levels to now the highest of levels in Division I college softball. And when they took over in 2015, again, Southeastern had never really been a championship caliber program. 32 wins was their high water mark. They've since won back-to-back Southland Conference tournaments and made back-to-back trips to regional championship Sunday.
Winning's hard, Matt, and it doesn't matter if you're a mid-major. It doesn't matter if you're the 4 seed at the regional or a 1 seed national. Overall, winning is hard to do. There are some teams that we've seen that have made winning look easy, but it is hard.
Jordy Ball is making it look easy in this tournament. 10 strikeouts today, her 10th 10K game of the season.
This low rise ball through the zone is impressive today. Rhonda Ravel said her timing is right on. A bit more down in the zone, but remember Pickens throwing 75, 76 miles an hour consistently.
Casey Hoffman pinch hitting for Lauren Kamenzind. Hoffman does have 7 homers this year. A home run would end it in the 6th. Hallie Burns, the Ole Miss transfer, back in the circle. This is wide, ball 1. Up next, the Big Ten player and pitcher of the year, Jordy Ball, who has already homered in this game and 4 times in the regional. Hoffman gulps it into right field. It is off the wall. Digging for 2, and she will stay put. The game-winning run in scoring position after the leadoff double by Casey Hoffman.
Hallie Burns trying to sneak in this curveball inside, and Hoffman gets her barrel there, clears her hips, gets her barrel out in front to be able to barrel up that pitch. So tough for these lefties to hit it out over the right field wall. Casey Hoffman with a leadoff double, and she represents as a pinch runner will come in for her the game-winning run.
Kennedy Williams will run at second base. Jordy Ball likely needs just a base hit into the outfield for Williams to score with her speed at second base. Last time up against Burns, Ball was walked on 4 pitches.
And Nebraska now has 100 doubles. They are just the 11th team in D1 history to have 100 doubles and 100 home runs in a season.
What a year for the Husker Bats. That commitment to shared responsibility, I think there might be something to that.
I think there might be a little something to that. High slugging percentage, one of the best scoring teams in the country.
Second walk of the day drawn by Jordy Ball.
And that's now 5 for 5 on the regional, 7 walks. 5 for 5 with 4 home runs, 8 runs scored, and 7 RBIs.
And Caitlin Caneda will come in to pinch run for Ball. Watch out for Sammy Bland, has driven in 4 of Nebraska's 7 runs in this championship game. And the game-winning run in Kennedy Williams, standing on second base with nobody out.
The other kind of crazy thing happening across the country is that Mississippi State has scored 6 runs off of Nyjah Kennedy. Still the 6th inning, that score is Texas Tech up 8-6. But man, you score 6 runs off of Nyjah Kennedy, you better find a way to win that game.
Scooped at third to Tillier, pops and throws, and not in time, according to first base umpire Emerus Addison. Will we have a challenge here? Yes, from Rick Freeman.
Tillier cutting that ball off. Long throw. I thought that Bland was indeed safe. I think that it's
We have a
likely.
safe at first base. Southeast Louisiana is challenging the safe at first base.
Yeah, I thought that she was safe. Close play.
After further review, the call of safe is upheld at first base. This is Southeast Louisiana's second challenge.
It's really, I mean, that was truly as close as it gets at first base. Hard to overturn that with indisputable video evidence.
Rick Freeman using this opportunity to put Addison Contorno in right field, switching out Briley Broussard. Meanwhile, one of the most dangerous hitters in the lineup. She's already homered once today, has driven in 2 runs, has walked it off multiple times this season for Nebraska. It's Ava Cusack, who can send her team and herself to the Super Regional, where she has never been, transferring over and playing in her first season after 2 years at Wisconsin.
And played for Nebraska, shortstop number 7, Ava Cusack.
Bases loaded, nobody out. It's Hallie Burns in the circle, Ava Cusack at the plate. All defenders for Southeastern creeping in, particularly on the infield. 2-0 from Burns.
Well, it's nice as a defender. You know exactly what you're going to do with the ball here. Game-winning runner at third base, ball on the ground. You're going home and trying to do everything that you can to extend this game.
Ball 3. Cusack has not even been tempted to lift the bat off her shoulders here. Nowhere to put her. Game-winning run 60 feet away. Hitters count. Her team waiting to erupt. Haven't been to a super since 2014. Cusack will send them there. Walking it off for Nebraska in the 6th. And the Huskers win the Baton Rouge Regional.
And that concludes today's game number 6. Our final score is Southeastern Louisiana 0 and Nebraska 8.
Just a great team effort by Nebraska this entire weekend. Their offense was almost unstoppable. Just seemed like they could not have a 3-up, 3-down inning. Relentless with 2 outs, so much 2-out scoring. 1 through 9, everybody getting in on the action. And of course, the quality starts. Jordy Ball starting all 3 games of this regional. Their offense scoring a lot of runs.